Okay, we are halfway through. We still haven't derived the proportion of population enjoying the, the, the best quality of each type of asset or services. Okay, we leave it until later. Now the seventh one. With refuse removed at least once a week. And then according to the do file, it comes from question D27. So let's tap this. Yeah, refuse removed once a week. So if the answer is 1, then my next dummy, V7, is equal to 1. Okay. Okay. The next few, they are assets variable, television, computer, any type of stove, fridge, and washing machine. Okay, one at a time. So television, I can tell you, I don't want to go back to the do file. Okay, I don't want your eyes to feel like dizzy actually. Section F actually. This one. Question from session F. F1, 3. Yeah, television. So V8 equals 1 if this TV variable equals 1. Okay. Next one. Do you have a computer? I can tell you the question is here. Is it this one? Where am I now? Is it 6? Okay, yeah, 1.6 actually. Session F 1.6. Does the household own at least one computer? Okay, so I can now generate my 9th dummy. It is a bit tedious, I understand this question. Question 14. Okay, the next one, the 10th dummy, I think it involves the stove variable, but I think the stove questions were asked 3 times. Question 1.9, 10, and 11. Electric stove, gas stove, and paraffin stove. I think if the answer is 1 to any one of the 3 type of stove question, then it will be fine. So generate V10 equals 1. I don't need to type equals 1 if the electric stove equals 1 or the gas stove equals 1 or paraffin stove equals 1. Any type of stove. Then this V10 is equal to 1. Okay. The next one is the fridge variable questions F113. Okay. V11 own fridge equals 1. Yes, I own the fridge. Maybe after we have derived the 12 dummies, you can think about out of the 12 dummies. Let's say at your own household, okay, what would be your asset index, okay, which we are going to derive minimum of 0, maximum of 12 if your dummy is equal to 1 to all 12 dummy variables. So we have generated the 11th one. The last one is whether you have your own washing machine. The question is 1.14. Yeah, own washing machine. Okay. So if the answer is equal to 1, then V12 equals 1. Okay, I'm not going to waste time to describe the variable, so I will skip the label variable step. Okay, now we can derive the proportion of how population owning each type of asset. So there's a quick way. This is the slow way, one at a time. And then with the weight. Okay, and then again, I will do it one more time. But you don't want to type this command 12 times to get this proportion. So a quicker way is just to derive the mean of each dummy, because the mean of each dummy actually gives you this percentage share. So statistics, first option, third option, first option. From V1 to V12, I think I explained this, I think previously, if the variables are really located next to each other, you don't need to type v1, v2 all the way to v12. Just say v1 dash v12. Not by anything. I just want the mean, which is the percentage. Okay. Okay, wait. Okay. Okay. So these are the percentage. So it means 67% live in formal dwelling, 70% have pipe water, and then 55 or 56% have flush or chemical toilet, and so forth. The last one, it means about 28% of the population have washing machine. So we fully finish question 14. But I must admit I made a typo error. It would be proportion of population. Okay. If I really want to know the proportion of households with each type of asset, then we have to make use of the tag key. So for example, it will be tag v1 if tag equals 1. And then the weight. Now this weight would more or less become household weight. Okay, remember this weighted population, household. Okay, household number, weighted number of households. Okay, but it's more or less still 2/3. Okay, okay. So we finish question 14. Question 15, I just want to derive a non-income welfare index. I call it index 1. I just add the 12 dummy variables together. In other words, I allocate the same weight to each dummy so that the index 1 has a minimum of 0, maximum of 12. So if you are really want to follow where you are in terms of the do file, we are now moving on to question 15. Okay, line 118. So let's generate the index. Index 1 equals v1 plus v2 plus all the way to v12. Then I will stop until you are ready. Let me pause for 30 seconds. Okay, let me give a description. It will be non-income welfare index in bracket equal weight, meaning I allocate equal weight to each of the 12 dummy variables. Maybe let me tab index 1. I just want to, maybe I should sum index 1. Yes, indeed, minimum is 0. So in other words, this index is equal to 0 to some very poor households. But some households or population, they really got the maximum possible index value, which is 12. Okay. Okay. And then according to the end of question 15, I want to derive the mean index 1 in each population decile. Remember we derived decile 1 before? Population decile using real per capita income. And now I want to derive the mean index 1 in each decile using decile 1. So I want mean index 1 by decile 1. I should just, I don't know the location, let me just type it. Okay, decile 1, mean index 1 in each population decile. Okay, the weight is there. Okay. Yeah, you see the mean index increase as we move across to the richer population income deciles. Okay, same answers. Okay, question 16. Another way to derive the non-income welfare index using a statistical method called PCA, Principal Components Analysis. Strictly speaking, it is a master's level empirical analysis method. So if you are interested to know a little bit on the statistical or mathematical background, read this reading, 2001 Filmer, and I can't pronounce the second surname. Okay, when you have time, you can really go through this with some mathematical explanation. Okay, and then for this method, we allocate different weight to each of the 12 variables. Okay, and then okay, let's run the command. PCA, this is the command called Principal Component Analysis. and I have to list the 12 variables, the 12 dummies actually. I just want to make sure I include all 12 PCA, then V1, V2, V3, all the way to V12. And I mustn't forget about the weight. Okay. I'm not going to talk about these principal components, okay, beyond the scope of today's workshop. And after you run this command, you must type predict index2, which is the name I'm going to give to the index, index2. Okay, index2, and then let me label it more properly. Label variable index2, I will call it non-income welfare index. In bracket, I need to remind myself I use the PCA method. And let me sum index2, including the weight, okay? The mean is 0, actually, more or less 0. It actually means 10 to the power of minus 9, which actually gives you 0. So this is one thing I can tell you. If you apply the PCA method, you derive an index. The mean of the index would be more or less 0. Okay? And then let's derive the mean index2 per population decile, okay? Which is the end of question 16. Okay? This time index2. Again, you would see it increase as you move across to the richer deciles. Okay, happy with that? Next one. I want to derive another population decile. Remember previously, we used real per capita income to divide the population into deciles, and we name the decile variable as decile 1. Okay, so keep in mind decile 1 relates to money metric welfare or real per capita income. Then according to question 17, I want to divide the population into deciles, but this time using the non-income welfare variable, index 2, the one that is derived using the PCA method. And I call this decile variable decile 2. Later, I want to compare the relationship between decile 1 and decile 2. So in other words, I want to know for the households belonging to the poorer income deciles, would they also belong to the poorer deciles in terms of non-income welfare? Okay. So let's run the command first to derive decile 2. Xtile decile 2 equal using index 2. Oops. Comma NQ10. Okay. Let's tap decile 2 to ensure. Hopefully. Yeah, more or less. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Not exactly 10%. Okay. Okay. The reason is maybe certain population, they really have exactly the same index 2 value. Okay. Yeah. So it might be more difficult to have exactly 10% in each population decile. Okay. Okay, but anyways, let's compare decile 1, decile 2, two-way crosstab. NOFROW, I think it will be quite a wide table. Let me adjust the width. By the way, you can actually adjust the width of these windows. Okay. Okay. How can we interpret this? So it actually means, okay, remember this is decile 1. This is index 1. Yes, decile 1. Using index, real per capita income. Apologies. Let me repeat one more time. Decile 1 using real per capita income. Decile 2 using index 2, the non-income welfare index, using the PCA method. So how can we interpret this? So it actually means for the poorest 10% of the population using real per capita income, 27% of them belong to the poorest non-income welfare decile. Okay. and 21% belong to the second poorest.